Okay, it is 1 o'clock on September 9th, 2025, and this is the Governance and Priorities Committee meeting for the Town of Rocky Mountain House, and I'll call the meeting to order. First order of business is our agenda. We have an agenda in front of us. Is there anything that needs to be modified or changed on the agenda? If not, just looking for a motion. Councillor Schipholt.
I'll also make that motion, Acting Mayor, that we approve the agenda as circulated.
Okay, thank you for that motion. Discussion. All those in favor? And that is carried. We have no delegations today, so we're going to move on to the adoption of the previous minutes. So we have the June 10th, 2025 minutes in front of us. Is there any errors or omissions or anything that needs to be modified on that? Councillor Musker.
Thank you, Acting Mayor. I move that we accept the minutes from the June 10th, 2025 Governance Priorities Committee meeting minutes as presented.
Okay, thank you for that motion. Any discussion? All those in favor? And that is carried. And we'll skip right down to new business, 7.1, the Riverview draft. I see Mr. Schwader making his way to the front. Mr. Clark. Okay.
Thank you, Acting Mayor. So basically, for today's GPC, Council has asked us to explore 4 different areas for possible future development, and that's being presented today. So just kind of a synopsis of all of them is that they're all very in the preliminary stage. And basically, this is step 1. This is a check and balance, and then this would probably, if council wants to advance any of them, go to service level because they would need further budget to carry on. So the first one that council wanted us to look at was the Riverview area. And so we worked with consultants for that to revisit the outline plan and come up with some alternative housing options in that area and so forth. And my computer is just loading. And so when it comes up, I'll go to the map and just explain some of the aspects of that when it comes up. I'm doing, yeah. So when we revisited this area with the consultants, there was some opportunities that we wanted to explore, and one was the 60th Street of actually making that into a service road off the highway, and utilities would also be going down that road. So that makes the highway commercial lots, the existing ones, more desirable and would be service. So that would allow for some future potential of those lots. And I brought up the wrong one. So then if you scan down, no. So on 61st Street, what the idea was typically there is we wanted to maintain the integrity of the existing street for house sizes. And so it turned into basically a crescent with maintaining the lot sizes that are comparable to the houses that are existing on the street. Then the next street up, we did a cul-de-sac, which allowed for multifamily type of development like duplex and row housing. And then further north, same thing, smaller single-family dwelling lots with multifamily. And then if you see the yellow ones on there where it says potential development, that's because that is a private lot north of it. And in the future, a road might have to come back around that way if it's ever developed. So now we also had the engineers do some preliminary engineering and costing, and you can see that sheet there. Now, the caveat on that costing, that is a Class D, so it's probably about 30% higher, right? Up to 30% higher than we can really anticipate if you went out to tender. And the big, the big ticket item in there, of course, is that lift station, because we still can't get away from the lift station in the area. They've priced it at $3 million, which to me is a little exuberant. But like I say, this is a Class D. So, and if you take all the costs that they provided and put it into the lots, it still works out to about $200,000 per lot. But you can't contribute all of these costs strictly to the lots. Because the 60th Street, you know, that benefits both the highway commercial to the east, lands to the south, plus the residential development, and plus we're looking at servicing like water and sewer down that street to service those highway commercial lots. So you wouldn't be contributing all of that cost to the price of the lots. So, like I say, it's preliminary, it's step one. If council had decided to proceed with any of this, we'd be getting into more discussion and analysis of this. So I will open it for council to have any questions or discussions.
I see Councillor Shipple has a question.
Thank you, Acting Mayor. So reading through it, I can't believe there's 25 meters variation in height from front to back on those lots. That's 83 feet, according to their diagrams here. I go like, wow. No wonder we need a lift station if there's that kind of variance in there. I just found that a big number. In here, they got shallow services supplied by Rocky Gas Co-op. I think
That's incorrect.
yes.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is that there's no way we could ever afford to do all these lots at one time. And so I'm wondering if they broke it down into smaller chunks, and it doesn't cover that off in this report, but I'm thinking we're gonna do the first street and then the second street down the road and the third street. If there's any cost savings in there, if there's any way of getting the cost down, I'm still of the belief at 200,000, we're not gonna sell anything.
Yeah.
And I just don't know if we're wasting good money after bad trying to figure out how to get the cost down, because this much sounds like the same price. Now, I was trying to see the lot size, and what was sent to us in an email didn't allow us to open up the drawings to figure out the lot size, so I'm not sure if the lot size, if there's any place to reduce the lot size to gain some lots to try to, gain, to try to get them down in cost.
Yeah, and absolutely, and I think that's why I started out, this is draft
Preliminary.
one, right? Where if council wanted to explore it in greater detail, then, we would get into that and really start looking at lot sizes. They just provided a variety of lots for different uses, which can change, right? So,
Yeah. The other thing which I found kind of interesting here is the fee for consulting, 15%. So on this project as a whole is $3.4 million if the prices that they've set in here.
that
There's
would
just
be.
something about that that doesn't quite feel friendly.
Yeah, no, like I say, it's a Class D. If we proceeded with this, we'd be talking that price for sure.
Yeah, 15% was,
The way.
I need to do a career change at my age, maybe a little late, but
Do you have further questions, Councillor Shipple, or no? Well, while you're looking, is there any other questions council has regarding this concept plan? Looking at this, I agree, the first set of lots are quite large. And there'd be definitely some advantages to looking at making that higher density, and even the row housing on the 3rd Street, there could actually be more row housing and less single family, so that could again change the costing on a lot of the lots. So, and having said, this is a Class D and it's not a final drawing, there's lots of variables that could be, but I would like to see a little more density in here to bring down the costs for sure. And Councillor Shipple.
thank you, Acting Mayor. So I tried to figure out the cost per lot, and it was difficult because it got that multifamily in there at 1.4 acres, and I thanks for figuring out the 200,000, because there was this, I kept running into a roadblock trying to figure out what the cost per lot was. So I think it's worthy to have a look at I still maintain these lots are not gonna sell for 200. It's about double the cost that they're gonna sell at. We need to figure out how to, if we're gonna look at any further, how to get the price down.
Yeah, then I do go back to that pricing does include, you can't contribute all of that cost to these lots, because there's other benefiting properties to it too, so. And 3 million for the lift station, I just,
That
Yeah.
seems very high.
so.
Counselor Shipple.
Thank you. So with this discussion, I'd make the motion that we put this forward to our service level review to have a discussion about whether we're going to continue exploring this as an option for future residential development.
Okay, thank you for that motion. Do we have any discussion on that motion? Deputy Mayor Hutchinson.
Yes, but does everybody else having problems with downloading on their computer today?
It's slow.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
definitely slow today.
I like this idea. I like the, I mean, it's obviously it's a need that we have in the community. Again, we've discussed having a housing study to see what, we're not there yet either, but, you know, there may be some clarity in that as to what type of housing is more preferred in the area, so, but I definitely support it going to service level.
Okay, any more discussion on the motion? I'm not seeing any more discussion, so I'll call the question. All those in favor? And that is carried. So moving on in our agenda, we'll move on to item 7.2, the infill draft.
Yeah,
Mr.
thank
Kraus.
you, Acting Mayor. So this was another idea that council wanted us to explore, and really the origins of this one comes out of the current rec master plan. If you look at the current rec master plan, is that we have too many playgrounds that are too close together, and that rec master plan provided a recommendation that some be repurposed or redeveloped. So this is one idea that's being explored, is to redevelop one of these playgrounds into residential lots. So if you look at the map, we explored a couple options. So with this one, they're showing 10 lots, and those lots match the sizes of lots in the surrounding area. Because there is also the option of making 12 lots, so it'd be smaller, which still works. But again, we were looking at the integrity of the neighborhood and acceptance of adjacent. So we told the engineers to proceed with the 10 on the costing and so forth. And the way we did this was that we, instead of disrupting the current street, which is already paved and whatever, we took the services off 57th Street and brought them down the alley, so, which reduces the cost. So these lots would be serviced from the rear versus the front. Again, it's a Class D cost, but even with that Class D cost, these lots come in at around $98,000, so $100,000 approximately.
So we have questions on this particular concept. Counselor Auld.
Thanks, Deputy Acting Mayor. It's not a question, just we are looking to try and fulfill a need in town. And where this proposal is there's 3 parks within 2-minute walking distance of each other. So I think this would be a prime location if we wanted to go down that road. The cost is closer to where you want to be for the Riverview stuff. I think it's definitely something council should look at.
Deputy Mayor Hutchinson.
Thank you. So just to kind of put it out there for the public and the viewers, conceptual designs, I mean, they're important. They're not the plan that's happening tomorrow if we decide. It's a starting point. It's important to have these type of documents on our shelves in case there is the opportunity for funding, grant funding, to be able to move forward in a more timely manner than having to go through the process, because we know granting programs often happen, you know, here's the amount and you have to apply for it by a certain date. So this is the first step in us going forward with that plan? Is that, or that concept for council to move forward, for the community to move forward with housing? That correct? Yep.
And just for clarification, this particular concept would not require any upgrades to water treatment plant, lift stations, none of that would be required for this?
No.
Yeah, okay. Counselor Shipple.
Thank you, Acting Mayor. I just want to question about process. This is likely a contentious issue to the residents around there, so I just want to know, it looks like a good idea from the onset. What's the process that has to be followed to make sure the community is aware and knows what's going on, so we can take this to GP, or to our service level review if we're going to move forward, but what does the move forward look like in terms of the community?
Well, there's the legislative part of it. So this is MR land, so it is a park. So for council to change the purpose or dispose of a park, council would require to have a public hearing for this one. So that's the legislative part. But of course, you are affecting a neighborhood with residents. So I think we go beyond just a public hearing process. I mean, this is council's decision, obviously, at the end of the day. But actually maybe even have a meeting with the residents in that area, like an open house.
Okay, more questions, comments, discussion on this concept plan? Deputy Mayor Hutchison.
If there's no other comments, I'd make the motion be resolved that council move this item to the 2025 service level review meeting for discussion.
Okay, thank you for that motion. Any discussion on that particular motion? Seeing none, I'll call that to a vote. All those in favor? And that is carried. Moving on to item 7.3, the Main Street Corridor Draft. Mr. Kraus.
Yep, no, thank you, Acting Mayor. I might let Mr. Schwader present this one. He's probably more in tune with, more involved in this one than I was,
Okay.
but
Good afternoon, Acting Mayor, Council. We were directed from the service level from 2024 just to look at street concepts coming off the Highway 11. Options were 52nd Avenue, 50th Avenue, and 47th Avenue. With the consultant, we kind of gave him some ideas in regards to our history with David Thompson and National Historic Site. They came out with some concepts. The main sign would be, they're encouraging us on 47th, this is because of the boulevard off of, 50th off of Highway 11 in front of the Tamarack area, and then two smaller ones at 52nd and 47th. There's also soft landscaping as well on 50th Avenue, as well as different monuments or extras, I guess, that could be placed on 50th leading into the downtown core. You guys seen the costs involved for the signs. One concept was with the tower, and the other one was with the chimney. We're just recommending that, we talk about this at service level and then whether it's a budget item moving forward in regards to having street directional signs for Main Street out on the highway.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Schwader. Discussion from council on this concept. Councilor Shipple.
Thank you, Acting Mayor. In this report, it talks about reinforcing the existing wayfinding signs. So is that what's in place now or what's coming in the future? And do these coincide with the wayfinding sign project in terms of, is there going to be similarities, or is this sort of a one-off compared to what that is?
Could be possibly the coloring of the wood on the street concept. I know it has brick on the bottom, but options are to use wood. So it could tie into the wood color of the wayfinding signs.
Did you have a further question?
Only a comment, and my concern is that this project is maybe a bit premature. Maybe we need to look at the wayfinding sign program to see what it looks like, because the wayfinding sign program may be more apt to fit this program than something altogether different, like a chimney or a tower or whatever. I don't know.
And presently with the wayfinding signs on 47th and 52nd, we actually have Main Street directional signs on those wayfindings. So like I said, we're just following direction from council from 2024 as far as street concept plans.
Deputy Mayor Hutchinson.
Thank you. I know we did discuss, and it did come out when we did our walks with the businesses on Main Street, that having something to attract people off the highway to get into the downtown, into the Main Street area. I think they should coordinate with our wayfinding signs. To me, that would make sense. But I think it would be definitely an attraction for people on the highway, getting them off the highway, having something, I'll say monumental. No, I don't want to say that word. That one didn't go over well last time, but just having something to be welcoming, to be able to direct them to come into our downtown area. And maybe with that, promoting businesses or empty spaces to open up and attract more businesses in town.
Councillor Shippold.
Thank you, Acting Mayor. I agree. The only problem I have is that if it becomes a photo op area, if we create something that's going to be a photo op, we don't have parking, we are going to create ourselves something more than we already have there. So yeah, I have some long-term fears as to where that might go. I like the idea. I mean, it makes sense that we don't have anything like that, but if we create that photo op in the middle of a street in front of the 7-Eleven, the other thing we don't know about is what happens if the highway gets realigned behind the Tamarack, as they've suggested in their last drawings, that they would take the service road from in front of the Tamarack and put it behind the Tamarack. How does that fit into all that? So I just think it's premature. I guess where I'm at is, rather than taking the service level, I'd just like to accept this report as information for the time being, knowing we have it, and then down the road someplace possibly resurrect it and have a look at it. But I think it's just premature at this point to spend any energy on it till we know more so what's going on at the intersections.
Councillor Busker.
Thank you, Acting Mayor. I would agree with Councillor Spelt on that, because I think this one would tie in nicely with the next item on the agenda, the school site draft. That could be done in collaboration at the same time. I love the idea. I've said before, traveling west on 50th Street is the most iconic view we have in this town. And if we really could make it pop like that, it would get people off the highway and towards downtown. It may be premature to look at this as its own project, especially if the school site comes into play. Also the twinning of the highway through town. I mean, these are all in the future, may not happen, but sending it to service level might be a little premature. So I would support the motion to just accept it as information.
Deputy Mayor Hutchinson.
Thank you. I agree. I'm not sure if service level is the place for it right now, but I think I would like to still have it put someplace, and maybe that's in strategic planning, or maybe it's in our, a 10-year capital plan, or 5-year, or I don't know what. I just don't want to leave it just hanging. I'd like to see some kind of action item coming from this council to be able to have it revisited so that it's not put on the shelf and collecting dust.
Councillor Auld.
I agree with Councillor Hutchinson. I'd like to see it put into a 5-year plan. At that point, we should be a little more well aware of what's going on with the transportation, what they're doing with the highway, what they're doing with the school. If it's in that 5-year plan, then at least it's still in front of the next council and it's not just lost. So I would support a motion like that if Councillor Shippold was amiable to amending his motion.
I haven't made a motion.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
I just
there's
suggested.
been no
so
motion
I
made.
am open to the options for sure.
So just hearing that, we think this isn't the exact time for it, but that there is a time in the future for it. Mr. Kraus, is this something that could go on to the 2026 service level for review at that point to see if it's the appropriate time or maybe it gets pushed off?
Actually, my recommendation would be put it to service level, and then you can see the whole encompassing projects that are coming out, then council at that time can say, okay, we looked at it, let's move it down a year and look at it in 2026 or 2027. Otherwise, because we can't really throw it in the budget, because then we need council's direction to throw it in the 5-year budget. So the initial discussion would then be service level, unless council just wants to scrap the idea for now and accept it for information.
I got Deputy Mayor Hutchinson and Councillor Musker.
That was going to be my question, is how admin would suggest we move forward. Again, I don't want to see it scrapped, so I would make the motion that council move this item to the 2025 service level review meeting for discussion.
Thank you for that motion. So do we have any discussion on that motion? Not seeing any. Call that to a vote. All those in favor? And that is carried. And moving on to item 7.4, the school site draft. Mr. Kraus or
Yeah.
Mr. Schwader?
No, thank
Okay.
you, Acting Mayor. So this one definitely goes on the shelf. Because it is definitely way out there, because, obviously the school division has to make decisions on schools and that, so we're probably at least 5 years out on this. But what we did ask the consultant to do is throw, 4 concept plans together of possibilities that we can keep in the back of our mind when and if the school division makes a decision on that school. One key area or concept that we wanted it included for council's information is a site or a lot that would fit a police and fire station. So I think that is in like option, what do they name? First option, where it shows it going on to 46th Street, I think it is, or onto 50th Avenue. So just for council's information, the twinning of the highway, the concept drawings for that have been included in all of these concepts. That has been taken into account. So if you look at that first option there, where we have the purple lot institutional, which would be the fire station, police station, that road behind the Tamarack is in there. So, and that was also taken into account in the concept plan we just talked about also, so.
Councillor Shippold.
Thank you, Acting Mayor. Is the Cookie Jar Nursery property separate title? It's out of all these drawings, and so I always assumed it was part of the school property, but it appears not by these drawings.
Separate, yeah.
And who owns that?
Oh, is it? Oh, okay, I thought it was separate, sorry.
So should it not be incorporated in this plan, like,
Well, we did avoid it. So, and I guess that's more on, because we don't know what Wild Rose would do with that. If they would just sell it or subdivide it off if they got rid of the school site, so we didn't proceed in addressing it. So,
the old museum building, which is Cookie Jar Nursery now, is the old. So, yeah, that's an old building. I'm just wondering if it shouldn't have been included. This is gonna be on a shelf for a few years, no doubt. But I don't know. I mean, you're right. It's gonna be on the shelf, so I can just sit there and come the day, then we can look at it.
Okay, do we have more discussion on this particular topic? Councillor Cabrero.
Thank you. I'll go ahead and make a motion. Be it resolved that council accept this report as information.
Okay, thank you for that motion. Any discussion on that motion? I'll call out to a vote. All those in favor? And that is carried. We have no correspondence for action, so correspondence for information, we have none as well. Moving on to the item 10.1, the acting mayor's activity and committee report. My report is in there for the month. It was a little quieter than some months. Any questions for me on my report? If not, just looking for a motion to accept the report as information. Councillor Shippold.
Also move that we accept the acting mayor's report as information.
Okay, thank you for that motion. Discussion? All those in favor? And that's carried. 10.2, the council activity and committee reports. I'll start with Councillor Caprero.
The only thing I wanted to touch base on was just we had our Alberta Day event on August 31st. Just really nice to see that every event we do, the numbers that we see seem to grow, which is awesome. Just lots of good feedback from people that came and checked it out. Appreciative for us doing these kinds of things. So otherwise, thank you to everyone as well that partaked and our volunteers and everyone. It was great. If anyone has any questions on anything else from my report, just let me know.
Okay, not seeing any questions. Deputy Mayor Hutchinson.
Thank you. I thought I had a quiet month until I started doing my report, but, so just a little bit on the Unstoppable nonprofit, that's continuing work on the possibility of creating a community foundation, not an independent one, but piggybacking off of the Central Alberta Community Foundation. So that work's ongoing and exploring how and what it would actually look like for the community. I attended the Rocky Dome meeting. We will be having another meeting, I think, into September. We were wanting to wait until the rec report was out before looking a little bit farther into that. Our summer 2028 Alberta Summer Games bid has been submitted, and we're always thinking positive in that direction. Rocky Senior Housing, just to of note that we've got a new website up and running, rockyseniors.com, a little more user-friendly and easier access and different links for seniors to be able to get some help with. And then the Alberta Day event, as Councillor Caprero said, it was great. The weather couldn't have been better. No wasps, like last year we had to deal with the wasps. Thank you to everybody. Thank you, Councillor Musker, for being on that barbecue again. A few things that will be changing for next year. We always, every time we have an event, we reevaluate it about a month later and figure out how can we change it, how can we make it better, what can we do different. So again, as Councillor Caprero said, thank you to anybody that helped out, and the Canadian Filipino Association came out and danced for us, so they had a great time, and we're hoping to have them for our Christmas event, possibly doing some Christmas carols or something, as well as adding to what we had last year.
Okay, thank you, Deputy Mayor Hutchinson. Any questions for Deputy Mayor? If not, I'll move on to Councillor Musker.
Thank you, Acting Mayor. My report's there. I have nothing to add.
I'm not seeing any questions, so we'll move on to Councillor Shippold.
Thank you. I'm the same. My report's there. If anybody has any questions, feel free to ask.
Okay, again, not seeing any questions. And Councillor Auld, did you want to have a verbal report at all?
Nothing to report. It was a very quiet month for me. I was away for the majority of August, so my apologies for not sending in a blank report.
So no other questions on the report, so I will make a motion to accept the council and activity and committee reports as information. Any discussion on that motion? All those in favor? That is carried. Moving on to 11.1, the department reports. Mr. Kraus.
Yeah, no, thank you, Acting Mayor. If council has any questions on any report there?
Councillor Shippold.
I just have one, and that's under planning and community development. Under other, it says commissioning for new staff, peace officers. Oh, I see what you're doing. Okay, got it now. I was under the impression that the police officers were still under planning and community development, but it's just, my misread.
Okay, any other questions on the department reports? If none, just looking for a motion to accept that as information. Counselor Olive.
I'll make that motion that we accept the reports as information.
Okay, thank you for that motion. Any discussion? All those in favor? And that is carried. And moving on to the action list, Mr. Kraus.
Thank you, Acting Mayor.
All crossed
All
off.
actions are crossed off, so.
Okay, so we're just looking for a motion to accept the action list. Counselor Musker.
Thank you, Acting Mayor. I move that we accept the action list for information.
Okay, thank you for that motion. Discussion? All those in favor? And that's carried. Do we have any notices of motion today? Not seeing any, so we'll take a brief recess and then we'll go into closed session. Okay, we are back from our break, and we're just looking for a motion to go into closed session. Counselor Ald.
I'll make that motion that we go into closed session.
Okay, thank you for that motion. Discussion. All those in favor? And we are now in closed session. Yeah, there's a letter of intents. Okay, we are out of closed session, and we have one motion coming out of our closed session. Counselor Ald,
Just make the motion that administration and council proceeds with P3 as discussed.
okay, thank you for that motion. Discussion, all those in favor? That is carried, and with nothing left on our agenda, I will adjourn the meeting at 2:08.